Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today's video is for those people nearing 3,000 mods or just want to start off finding new mods. There's over 50,000 on Nexus, so I'm sure there's something new to you. So leave a like on the video and let's dive right in, and don't forget to endorse my author. The first mod making full use of the DLCs, this mod is called Aetherium Forge, destroys items. Now when you have access to this area, you can bring any sort of item for role-playing purposes and destroy said item. Depending on the quality of the item and the importance it has in Skyrim, the explosion and the reaction of lava will have a bigger effect. Just make sure you don't drop any quest items if you have a mod that lets you do that in here, or you will break your game because you're never getting it back. To destroy the item, all you have to do is grab it and drop it into the lava and it will automatically do everything else for you. But you can also drop it straight from your inventory. You really don't have to go through the extra process. Some recent quest mods even started using this mod as a core function for those people aiming for a good character playthrough. So by proxy, maybe this is a mod you already have. This next mod is called Thrones Expanded. A fairly brand new mod that overhauls the Jarl's thrones in every major city and town in Skyrim, featuring new models and meshes and also textures for those models that don't really stretch, which is something I've come to greatly appreciate over my years of modding. Each throne is based on the theme of the Jarl, how evil they are or how good they are, as well as the area that is surrounding the city. And when you take in those two factors for the Jarl house, you get some pretty unique variation. And because this mod uses base object swapper, optionally it's the second file under downloads, it's automatically compatible with all city overhauls. At least in my experience it did, because as you can see, I currently use cities of the north for most of my cities. Also, if you're wondering what this guy is doing, we'll come back to that in a few. Something I probably should have showcased previously, but the thrones for places like Markarth and Windhelm have been left alone because there are tons of interior overhauls that pretty much overhaul them already. But I felt it was right to showcase them, just in case you thought this mod was changing it and just clarify things for people. But this mod instead focuses on places like Solitude, Whiterun, Winterhold, Dawnstar, Morthal, and Falkreath. The original places that generally don't get much attention when it comes to throne overhauls, but I do believe Riften could have definitely benefited from this because she still has a regular wooden chair when she's a Jarl, but I guess that's maybe for the better, for low reasons considering how poor Riften is. Now back to what the guard was previously doing in the mod showcase. This mod is called UNDERDOG Animations, adding hundreds of new handcrafted animations that range from lore friendly to completely new wacky animations for fun. With it having so many animations, it touches on everything except for new combat animations. Like as you're seeing the new sitting animations. Everything is optional. It has an all-in-one to pick what new animations you want and which ones you don't want. And it has an optional file with about 400 GIFs to show exactly what animations you do and don't want. It's also updated to now use Open Animation Replacer, so it is very compatible with almost everything. The reason I didn't put it in an animations video previously is because I'm still figuring it out, because a lot of NPCs, as you can see, are labeled old in this game, so they get new animations that I don't think really fit them. But because this uses Open Animation Replacer, I'm learning to learn my way around it so I can easily configure what I do and don't want NPCs to have. But trust me, even if you think these animations are too much, there's over 400 animations provided here. I'm sure you'll find one that you love and want to keep. Or maybe you'll just use it for the death animations that everyone seems to love. The next mod is much more simple. This mod is called Grab and Eat. This mod, taking advantage of dynamic activation key, allows for you to shift click on any harvestable and simply eat it straight from the ground without having to put it in your inventory and then find it, which can be pretty annoying if you hoard things, which pretty much everyone does in Skyrim. The only thing I warn you about is that it does have a few requirements, and if you don't know what you're doing, you might not get the animations, but you'll still definitely get the new utility to pick up items and eat it straight off the ground. But if you do get it working fully, which was pretty easy for me, it's worth it for the added immersion. Oh, and also yes, you will get a bounty. Another simple utility mod for the NPCs in Skyrim this time. This mod is called Essential Supplies. Making use of SkyPatcher, as you can see from the title, it adds new essential items to NPCs that should originally have had them. For example, Bellathor will have dozens of new miscellaneous items that weren't available to him, and alchemy stores, not just for Arcadia, will now have new potions to sell you rather than just having 8 different types of maybe one potion. And if you want to go even further for immersion reasons, you can add the optional file to add pelts to the Drunken Huntsman. Adding on to the previous mod with the new one, I highly recommend hunters sell fish and more animal parts. Now every hunter added to the game, either static or just ones that spawn dynamically, will have the option to sell you stuff.
I've been hunting and fishing in these parts for years.
Now instead of just when you talk to them saying they've been hunting in these parts for years, you'll now have an option to check their inventory and see exactly just how good they are at hunting. And sometimes they have quite a few useful items to you, especially if you play on a survival playthrough. Though I do have to admit sometimes they make my game extremely hard to do things just so I can make mods like this useful, for immersion reasons. Up next, this mod is something I've showcased before, but this mod is called Vibrant Weapons. I'm only showcasing this mod so I can showcase the next mod, which not many people are using for some reason. This mod adds new effects to fire, frost, and shock enchanted weapons, giving them new animated effects that will display when you're idle or when you're walking around. But these new animated effects are completely cosmetic and don't add anything in terms of combat besides making you look cooler than you already do. But the best part about this mod, in my opinion, is that you can take these enchantment effects and make new ones by combining the original two. Like for instance, this is what happens when you combine frost with fire. It makes a new blue/red fire effect. But the main reason why I showcased this mod is for the new trail effects called Precision Magic Trails. Adding new enchantment attack effects using precision trail mechanic that not many people admittedly are fans of. Honestly, they always say swords don't go swoosh in the comments, but maybe if the sword is magically enchanted with fire, it'll make more sense for them. As of right now, there are effects for the 3 major magic enchantments such as fire, frost, and shock, which is the only ones Vibrant Weapons really overhaul, and I feel like that was the main reason why this mod was made, because they blend perfectly and the textures are pretty much one-to-one, but it does touch weapons like Dawnbreaker as well. This next mod is for those people that usually ask me about my slash effects. This framework is called Mood Impact Framework, or MIF for short, but this itself is just a framework. To get them exactly like mine, you need the mod which is called Separated Slash Effects X, which is a preset for this mod because the original mod is just a framework and it takes advantage of that to add new cool slash effects that are definitely turned down from what they could be, because originally they were a lot brighter and bigger. And if you use impact slash effects, it goes great with this because they are made by the same mod author, so you don't have to miss out on one to use the other. This mod is also easy to customize, so if you don't like something like arrows also having a slash effect, just turn it off. Another immersive mod I implore you to get, this mod is called NPCs Looting Combat. Now when an NPC kills an enemy, determined by if they get the last hit or how much damage they did to the enemy, after fighting all the people and killing everyone, they'll go around and loot the NPCs. Sometimes the NPC will loot them automatically and the NPC will just randomly become naked, but most of the time they'll wait until after combat to start looting and take everything that they could use. And if you wait a while, if they find better gear, you can sometimes now see them in it. So now after fights, you might see a lot more naked NPCs taking advantage of whatever underwear mod you have. This mod is a great way to prevent yourself from getting overpowered gear by letting other NPCs kill for you because they never looted in vanilla Skyrim. Before I showcase the next mod, I wanted to give a arachnophobia discounter just for anyone that didn't want to watch this. But this next mod is called Another Redbelly Mine mod. This mod overhauls the Redbelly Mine's gameplay aspect, not really expanding on the cave itself. Might need Fuzzbeat to do that. But for now, this mod will overhaul the spiders by adding a web mother down at the bottom to make this place a little more dangerous. But this also goes further and changes the ores a little by adding 1 ebony ore to mine. And while that might seem a little overpowered, you really can't do anything with it besides sell it, or you can just go and hoard it for some reason. But up next and final mod of today, this mod is called Unique Dragon Aspect. Overhauling the dragon aspect for either you or Mirak. You can change whichever one and set whichever one to ones you want. But if you don't want this mod touching you, there's an installation option. You can pick whichever color you want, and when you install the mod and join in game, you'll have the new colors installed. Of course, this is completely cosmetic and it works with pretty much any perk overhaul or any shout overhaul that you have. And if it doesn't work with it, it generally has a patch and is okay to get overridden, considering these are just textures. And out of all the colors, I definitely prefer the white gold one. It's the most unique besides the regular vanilla one. But that was pretty much it for today, guys. Let me know what you thought about this selection of mods, and if you found a mod that you'll end up downloading. But as of right now, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Peace and love, guys.